And other MPs who care and who voted for a ceasefire when people demanded it. So they are treating people with success.
How are you doing?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll be back in a sec. Yeah. No, you can't. Let people go.
My back is really...
He works with kids in the global south.
Defend Julian Assange and demand that he's released and he's protected for his
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Day of Atonement, yes. I think there's a lot of people now who are getting a bit scared that they might end up in the International Court of Justice on a list somewhere. And the Day of Atonement, when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, every 5 years I have a day or two when I believe in God, and I don't usually, but on this day I thought, there is a God, and she's doing very well.
Thank you, Carl. Entertaining as ever. Thank you. I must say, it's really interesting. What happened yesterday or the day before on our McDonald's picket is that we got a couple of minor attacks, and it began with a young man, completely sort of sleeveless t-shirt when the rest of us were like freezing, who wandered up, came up to me and said, "Which synagogue do you go to?" So I said, as far as I know, not all Jewish people go to synagogues, is that right? And he said, yes, that's right. I just wanted to know which synagogue you go to. So I said to him, well, I'm not Jewish, so I don't go to synagogue, but thanks for asking. He then had a go at Sam. It's the same young man. So he was really pretty vile. Well, I can't remember the question. What was the question he asked you?
What did I think about the hostages?
Oh, that's right.
What did I think about the hostages? And I said, well, Israel is holding something like 10,000 hostages.
I was educated in that school. My father told me that you never cross a picket line. And my mother told me you always fight for poor people like us. And I learned it, and the whole generation that I was part of knew that, and that was the Jewish tradition that we knew. We didn't know any other. Well, that's not true. We knew another. They were the employers. They were Zionists. They were thinking of nationality. We were thinking of internationality. And that's the difference between their traditional Jewish and our Jewish tradition here with Palestine and with people of color and with people who are white and people of every color. And we are together as the international movement. That is our Jewish tradition.
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
In our thousands, in our millions!
We are all Palestinians!
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. Sarah looks like she wants to have a few words.
Oh, yeah. Just to add a couple of points. The day when we did the flower action in Kentish Town, the news came through that in San Francisco, pro-Palestinian protesters took over the airport
That's right.
And they completely blocked the
It was Ijan.
it was Ijan, the International Jewish Anti-Zionist
That's what they did
Network.
for Flower Day.
For Flower Day, they took over the big it's a huge airport in San Francisco, and they particularly targeted the wing where the Israeli flights leave from, and they stopped the flights from going, which is fantastic. And then two other quick things, that there are people running around, often prominent, well-heeled people, that say, oh, Jewish people are frightened to go in London. But they're not frightened, they're guilty. And they're fearful because the tide is turning. Israel is becoming a pariah state, finally. And their crimes will not be forgiven or forgotten. And people are more and more aware of this. And this picket is growing. It's louder, it's bolder, more beeping of horns. So as Selma said, we're coming together. The last thing is that last week, the Global Women's Strike Network did a fundraiser for the Middle East Children's Alliance. They are a distinguished organization doing support work for women, children, and families on the ground in Gaza. And they showed a video clip of the women cooking huge pots of food in the north of Gaza, where hardly any aid is getting. And you were touched to the heart that in the midst of this absolute devastation, that the women and children are keeping things going. People are being fed. And it reminds us that the Palestinian people never gave up. They've never given up. And we stand with them. All of us together, we stand with Gaza.
Who do we stand with?
Palestine!
Who do we stand with?
Gaza!
Who do we stand with?
Palestine!
All right. Now I'm going to call on another anti-Zionist Jew in Ijan. Jonathan.
Thank you, son. Greetings, everybody. Great to see you all again today. I just wanted to pick up on something that you said, Salma, about Jews being frightened. You know, it's just such rubbish. I have never felt safer than when attending one of the big demonstrations here in London. Never ever. Peaceful, welcoming, and as safe as anything. And of course, this is the nonsense that they tell us in order to try and justify the clamping down on protests, right? They said the same thing to us in South Africa. I remember it very, very clearly. Oh, you know, you can't go and work with the black majority. They're going to rise up and murder you. They're going to rape your women. Always your women, of course.
When I say something,
no, you can't. I'm talking here. And it's just such rubbish. So when I joined the anti-apartheid movement and I joined the ANC, again, I was welcomed with open arms.
open arms.
Open arms. Because why? Because we were fighting for the same thing. Freedom from oppression. Freedom from settler colonialism. Right? And this is what the nature of the situation is in Palestine. It is a settler colonial state. And when you talk to people,
Who started all this kind of war?
in
Who
Gaza
started? Don't
and in
film me, please.
Palestine,
Don't.
remember to
Go
talk
away.
about
I'm just talking.
Go
Don't.
away.
the heart of the problem.
Yeah, but
Go away.
just don't.
If you
Just
don't
don't.
want
Just
any
don't.
photographs, go somewhere else.
Just don't. Just don't. Just don't.
It's too late, mate.
Free, free,
Palestine!
free, free.
Palestine!
Free, free, Israel! Free, free, Israel!
Palestine! Palestine!
All right. Ben, you want to give us a couple
Wait till the
choruses?
genocide comes for you.
Okay.
Now, this year is a year of election in the US, in the UK, in Canada, and probably many other countries. And we have told the politicians we're not going to vote for them unless they support a ceasefire. So let's remember, no ceasefire, no vote, no ceasefire, no vote, no ceasefire, no vote, no ceasefire, no vote, free, free. Our movement is an international movement. Sarah spoke about what happened in San Francisco, also in New York. Pro-Palestine demonstrators occupied the New York Times because the New York Times have been peddling the lies of the Zionists, and that's enough. We have to tell the truth. In Wales, 2 days ago, there was a banner drop that named 20,000 of the victims of the Zionist murderer genocide. So that's another action that's been taking place in this country. This weekend is a weekend of local action. So there will be action just about everywhere in the UK, in Birmingham, in Derby, in Cardiff, in Bristol, in Exeter, in Leicester, in Lancaster, in Northampton, in Nottingham, in Southampton, and many, many, many other places. Many of us have also blocked and stopped the production of weapons, the very weapons that are being used right now to commit this unnameable genocide. The Workers for a Free Palestine is planning another action next week to block another weapon factory. So if you want to join in, please look them up on social media, Workers for a Free Palestine. And they've told us that a few days ago, the Palestine General Federation of Trade Union headquarters has been bombed. Okay? So that's what the Zionists are doing in Gaza and in Palestine. So we are not going to stop. We are not going to continue to fight. We are continue to demand a ceasefire, an end to the occupation, an end to the apartheid, and we're going to win to free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Thank you, Ben. I wanted to add something I forgot to say earlier, and that is I think we have to revise the figures of the number of people who have been slaughtered in this genocide, because they've never given the numbers of people who are under the rubble. Never. Entire time. And we have people like the arch-Zionist Melanie Phillips going on Question Time and saying that there's no starvation in Gaza, that all the food is being hoarded and it's all on supermarkets, like she knows something. No, she knows nothing except what her political masters tell her to say. And fascist Melanie Phillips, the very same one. And just to finish up, Ralph Nader, who many of you will remember from the 70s and 80s, who did some extraordinary investigations into what was going on, committed by the US, by in fact Chevron, the factory that built a whole set of cars and lied the hell about the cars and the danger and damage and the people that died as a result of malfunctioning of their cars. Unsafe at any speed, that's the thing to read if you want to know more about it. But he has said, and he's very rarely been wrong or proved wrong, he has said that the numbers of people who've died in Palestine, in Gaza, now exceeds 200,000. And as we've always said, 70% are children and women. And if you're going to do a genocide, that's what you do. You kill women and children. You kill anybody who's going to come after you. You try to stop the women from protecting their children and from having children in the first place. That is a genocide. So when we remember who has got to pay and who's paid the biggest price, it is women and children of Palestine. And we'll never forget that. And every day and everything we do will be to fight for justice for them. Because we're here in the belly of the beast and we can do shit. And we better do it. We do.
Thank you, Crystal.
They are doing protests outside the Egyptian embassy. Yes. And they are calling out their Egyptian government to open up the borders and let the aid go in. And also they're calling on the Egyptian government to stop collaborating with the Israeli government. So we are hoping that one of the sisters or brothers will come and speak on this picket. Woo! Free Palestine! Woo! The last thing I meant to say that if you are giving donations, please give to the Middle East Children's Alliance. If you go online and you can donate, the Global Women's Strike and Women of Color did a fundraiser with a whole set of groups in the U.S., including Black Lives Matter, Indigenous people. They had a fantastic online event. They raised nearly $20,000. But we want to increase that money because we know the need is so great and so urgent, particularly for women and children and mothers and pregnant women. Thank you.
Fabulous, Sarah. We want to say you're on our side and we're on your side and we're all on the side of Gaza. Thank you very much for joining our picket.
Children have been bold. Children everywhere have been so bold. When you're walking down the street, people see the scarf and they say, free, free.